What's up, Car Squad fam? Welcome back to the Car Squad channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Derek. I do weekly car reviews, and today we'll be checking out this 2005 double cab Toyota Tundra with the SR5 package. First off, I'm going to walk you around the exterior of the vehicle, give you a tour of the inside, then I'll put you in the driver's seat for a point of view drive, and then finally I'll wrap it up with my thoughts of the vehicle. And I am located here in the Bay Area in Northern California, so if you've got a vehicle that I can shoot and review, please feel free to reach out to me at the email address right here. Thanks. Now, before we get into the review of the vehicle, I do want to give you a little history on the Tundra and how the brand came about. 2000 was the first model year of the Toyota Tundra. It was the second full-size pickup truck from a Japanese manufacturer. The first was the Toyota T100, which was the predecessor to this vehicle. The Tundra, however, was the first full-size Japanese pickup truck to be built in North America, and to this day is still the only full-size pickup truck being built in Texas. Initially, these were going to be called the T150s to follow the T100s, but after a lawsuit from Ford claiming the name was too similar to their F-150 name, Toyota decided to call it the Tundra. In 2000, when the Tundra debuted, it was selected as Motor Trend's Truck of the Year and Best Full-Size Truck from Consumer Reports. It was also the first full-size pickup awarded a good score in the IIHS Frontal Offset Crash Test. Its competitors from Ford and Dodge had only received a poor score previously, and its competitors from GM had only received a marginal score. With that being said, at its introduction, the Tundra had the highest initial vehicle sales for the Toyota brand in its history. Now, from 2000 to 2003, the Tundra was only available in the regular cab or access cab. I should also point out that those were the years that had the recall for the frame rust issues. In 2004, this double cab body style was introduced, which sat about a foot longer at 230 inches with a foot longer wheelbase to match. It also sat about 4 inches wider at 79 inches, as well as 3 inches taller at 74 inches. So starting off up front here in the engine bay, you'll see the 4.7 liter V8 engine that this vehicle is powered by. The double cab models were only offered with V8s. In the access cab and regular cab, you were able to get the vehicle with a V6 engine, which was carried over from the T100 and also used in the Tacomas at the time. In 2005, which is of course this truck's model year, Toyota upgraded this V8 4.7 liter with their variable valve timing technology. And these motors are known to run for 1,000,000 miles, literally pretty much trouble-free. Now, the Tundra was the first Toyota truck to receive a V8 engine, and this one put out 282 horsepower with 325 pound-feet of torque. It's got a towing capacity of 5,000 pounds and a payload up to 1,835 pounds. Interestingly, on the 2006 model, which was the last year of this generation, the horsepower and torque numbers dropped to 271 horsepower and 313 pound-feet of torque. In my opinion, that, along with this truck having the updated 4.7 liter V8 engine compared to the 2004 model, and not having the frame rust issues, it really makes this 2005 model year the year to get if you're looking for a double cab from this generation. One other thing I should note is your mileage on this is rated at 16 in the city and 18 on the highway. However, the owner tells me when he first bought this, he was getting about 12 miles per gallon, and once he got to the 100,000 mile mark, he started realizing he was getting more in the 14 to 15 mile per gallon range. I did look on the Toyota forums and noticed that many owners on there did say once they reached 100,000 miles, their fuel efficiency did go up. Working our way around to the back of the truck now, the first thing I do want to point out is this truck does not have the soft opening tailgate that modern trucks have, so you do have to lower it slowly when opening it. When putting it back up, it will take a little bit of muscle, as it is a little heavy. You can definitely feel the quality and the sturdiness in the tailgate alone. Now, the owner of this vehicle has put on a tri-folding hard cover, which does a pretty good job of keeping the water out. As you'll see here, it does seal over the top of the bed rails. Now, the dimensions for the bed are 20.7 inches deep, 63.6 inches wide, or about 5'3" inches, and 74.3 inches long, or about 6 feet 2 inches for anyone who doesn't want to do the math. This did make it about 5 inches longer than the F-150, which it was competing with at the time. As you'll see, you have a great amount of room to haul around just about anything you might need to. Now, moving into the back seat of the Tundra, you were getting an additional 10 inches of legroom in the back seat here versus the Access cab. And it is definitely noticeable. You're very comfortable back here. I'm 6'1". The driver's seat is set to my driving position. I also have a ton of headroom here. You do have over 40 inches of headroom in both the front and back seats. The other thing I do have to point out is I'm very surprised at how soft and comfortable these seats are. It's not something I would expect to find in a truck, much less one from 2005, when trucks weren't really advertised and sold as the daily drivers that they are today. Now, you don't have any features back here, but you do have 2 large cup holders. They're actually some of the only cup holders I am able to fit my large Hydro Flask bottle in. You'll also find 2 more cup holders when you fold down the center armrest. However, it's important to note that those are just normal sized cup holders. You also have a power outlet tucked away down here if rear passengers needed to charge their phone while on a road trip. And then you also have here air vents on either side. You can't adjust the temperature from back here, only open and close them. Controlling the temperature is just set from the front to whatever the air is for the rest of the vehicle. On the doors themselves, all you do have is just the window switch, and then you have a tiny pocket here. However, my favorite thing in the back seat is the fact that this whole rear window can slide fully up and down. It's a pretty cool feature and really allows for the vehicle to have a very open feel when all the windows are down. So up front here in the driver's seat now, you have an awesome driving position. You're seated very high up. You can see over all the traffic as you cruise down the road. And again, those comfortable seats are carried from the back into the front seat as well. You've got all your window controls here on the door. You have the option to lock the windows as well as unlock and lock the car. To the left of the steering wheel, you'll find your window switch to roll that rear window down that I just showed you a moment ago. You also have your left and right mirror controls. And then with this button here, you can raise or dim the brightness of your gauge cluster. You also have the option to pull on this and raise and lower the steering wheel. You cannot bring it out towards you, however. Your turn signal and window wiper stocks, very high quality. They've still held up very well after 15 years. Now, the original head unit on this truck was just radio and had a single disc CD player. The owner of this vehicle decided to upgrade it to have navigation, Bluetooth music connectivity, as well as a backup camera, which comes in very handy when driving a vehicle this big. You've got all your temperature controls here, which are very easy to use. Nothing crazy like modern cars where you have to go into a system and find your way around just to up the temperature 1 degree. Storage up front here is very good. You've got a large space in the center here to maybe store a phone while you're driving. Those 2 large cup holders from the back are carried forward up here as well. And then you also have an additional 2 regular size cup holders that pop up when you pull this out. You have 3 power outlets up here. 1 on the driver's side and then 2 in the left side of the passenger footwell. Storage in the center console is good. You've got a smaller spot up top to store smaller items as well as your coins. And then just below that, you have your larger area, which is pretty big. You could probably store a small FedEx package in there if needed. Up top here, you do have your sunglass storage, as well as your directional GPS, and then the ability to program in these buttons to open up a garage. That is, if you can find a garage that this truck actually fits in. One other nice thing that you can find both in the driver's seat and the passenger seat are these window visors. First one folds down, you can open it up and you can extend it as well, which is needed because of the windows being large. And then you have a second visor that folds down here, so it makes it nice. You don't have to keep moving this one back and forth if you're driving along a road where the sun keeps moving from the front to the side of you. Finally, I want to point out a few things that would be different depending on how you get this truck optioned. As I mentioned, this is the SR5 and it is a 2-wheel drive version of the truck. If you had the 4-wheel drive version, you would have an additional 2 buttons here to control your 4 high, 4 low for 4-wheel driving. And then if this was a limited edition with the heated leather seats, these 2 blank spots would be filled with the buttons to turn on and off those heated seats. Now this truck is 15 years old. It only has 107,000 miles, which is nothing for these. The owner tells me, aside from routine maintenance and general oil changes, there are two things that have come up. You might have noticed the tire pressure light was on while I was driving it. The tires are fine. However, the tire pressure sensors, as they've aged, have worn out, so he's going to replace those next time he's changing the tires. The other issue is the center wheel caps. The clips tend to become frail over time, and so two of the wheels have needed those replaced, but that was a $20 buy per wheel on eBay, and about 3 seconds of time for him to pop them into place. As far as looks go, I think the exterior styling is pretty nice. This is the facelifted version of the first generation of the Tundra. So you have the larger fog lights, you've got some different tail lights, and on this truck in particular, I think the fender flares really help give it a nice, more beefy look. Obviously, it's very functional as a work truck. You've got the large bed in the back. You've also got rear seats that fold down, so if there's things you can't fit in the bed, you can fit them on the interior here. And then of course you've got a lot of good power for towing if you're into doing that. The ride quality is surprisingly decent. I would expect a truck to ride a lot more rough, especially in 2005. They weren't building trucks as they are now to be vehicles for people to haul their kids to school in and then go pick up a gallon of milk from the grocery store with. I drove this truck even with the bed emptied, and it still wasn't as rough as some of the other trucks that I've driven. Overall, I think that this truck might be the perfect Toyota truck at the perfect price. Now, obviously, you don't have all the modern technology and features that a newer truck would have, but you get a Tundra without being as big as the modern Tundras have gotten, but you still have a 6-foot bed instead of a shortened bed. Now, pricing-wise, you can find these under $20,000. For a double cab 6-foot bed Tacoma, they hold their value extremely well, and you're going to be looking in the upper 20s for a clean one, and it still may have quite a bit of miles on them. Even with one of those double cab Tacomas, your space in the back seat isn't going to be as much as you get in this. I think all of that being said, along with the reliability of this vehicle and having plenty of life left, really makes this the perfect combination of a do-it-all truck that hits that sweet spot. You can use it as a work truck and also use it as a family road trip vehicle. Well, that wraps up today's review of this 2005 double cab Toyota Tundra. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe if you're not already to make sure you're part of the Car Squad fam and not missing out on any other videos like this. And also make sure you follow on Instagram at Car Squad TV. I'll put the link right here. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time.